The Assembly resolves to impeach the governor under Article 181 of the Constitution, Section 33 of the County Governments Act, and Standing Order number 65 of the Standing Orders of the Assembly on the following grounds. The first ground, nepotism, illegal appointments, unlawful dismissals, and usurpation of the constitutional and statutory functions of county organs. Appointing of the husband to county offices. On or around the 30th September 2022, the governor engaged in gross misconduct, grossly violated Articles 10, Article 232, Article 235, and Article 236 of the Constitution, grossly violated Section 17 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, grossly violated Section 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Governments Act, and 5, grossly violated Section 6 and 11 of the Meru County Youth Service Act 2018, and grossly violated Section 4 of the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act of 2017 by 1, appointing a husband to the non-existent position of the public of the Meru Youth Service before conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process. 2, appointing a husband to the non-existent position of the Meru Hustlers Ambassador before conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process. C, disregarding the criteria for the establishment of offices within the county public service. D, failing to submit a husband's name for approval by the county assembly before making the impact appointments. 5, the appointing Rufus Mireti to the county as the county secretary without the approval of the assembly as provided for under the County Assembly's Approval Act. Appointing the following unqualified persons to hold county offices without undertaking a transparent and competitive recruitment process. 1, Munene Samaritan as the Director of Special Programs, Ernest Mutembei as Director Monitoring and Evaluation, and 3, Henry Muzungu as Director of Administration, and Irari Sandi as Director Communications. Usurping and trashing the constitutional and statutory functions of the Assembly, the Meru County Public Service Board, CPSB, and the County Youth Service Board, the Meru County Youth Service Board. Evidence of the governor's gross misconduct, gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, Section 17 of the Public Officer Ethics Act of 2003, gross violation of Section 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the Meru County Governments Act, gross violation of Section 6 and 11 of the Meru County Youth Service Act 2018, and gross violation of Section 4 of the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act of 2017, is set out in the videos saved as Annex 2 as when she was appointing the husband, Annex 3 when she was reappointing Rufus Mireti, and Annex 4 on the appointment of Irari Sandi in the flash disk that is in my custody. The transcripts, translations of these videos are attached as Annex 2A, Annex 3A, and Annex 4 to the affidavit sworn by me, Dennis Kawira, DMK, on the 21st of November 2022 in support of this motion. Further, evidence is in the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission letter dated 19th October 2022 and a screenshot from the Governor's Facebook page, respectively attached to this motion as Annex 5 and Annex 5A to the affidavit and also to the affidavit in support of this motion. Under this charge also, road signed appointment of county workers at Timau. On or around 22nd September 2022, the governor violated Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution and grossly violated Sections 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Governments Act by 1, appointing firefighters at a public rally at Timau in misguided and unsustainable populism before conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process, subjecting potential applicants for county jobs to public humiliation by converting the crowd at the public rally as the advertising, recruiting, shortlisting, and appointing authority, and usurping and trashing exclusive constitutional and statutory mandates and functions of the Meru County CPSB. evidence of the governor's gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution and gross violations of Sections 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Governments Act is set in the video saved as Annex 6 in the flash disk in my custody. The transcript through translation of the video is attached as Annex 6A to the affidavit in this motion. Roadside appointment of county workers at Nkobo. On or around 9 September 2022, the governor engaged in 1. Gross misconduct, gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and 3. Gross violations of Sections 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the Meru County Governments Act by 1. Appointing market guns at a public rally at Nkobo in misguided and unsustainable populism before conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process. The transcript translation of the video is attached as Annex 7A in the affidavit in support of the motion. Roadside appointment of county workers at Kianjai. On or around 9 September 2022, the governor engaged in gross misconduct, gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution and gross violation of Sections 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Governments Act by illegally directing ward and sub-county administrators to employ sweepers and market guns at a public rally in misguided and unsustainable populism before conducting a transparent and competitive recruitment process, and B. Directing sub-county and ward administrators to usurp the exclusive constitutional and statutory functions and mandates of the Meru County Public Service Board. Evidence of the governor's gross misconduct, gross violation of Articles 10, 232, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and the gross violation of Sections 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the Meru County Governments Act is set in the video saved as Annex 8 in the flash drive in my custody to be presented together with this motion. The transcript translation of the video is attached as Annex 8A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Contempt of court, also under this charge is the contempt of court and illegal dismissals. On or around 7th October 2022, the governor and her husband engaged in gross misconduct, gross violation of Articles 10, Article 47, Article 232 and 234, 235 and 236 of the Constitution, and gross violation of Sections 55, 59, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the Meru County Governments Act, Sections 4 and 5 of the Fair Administrative Actions Act 2015, and Sections 35, 43, and 45 of the Employment Act 2007 by 1, illegally placing on compulsory leave and replacing the foreign persons before the expiry of their respective employment contracts. Paul Aremi Mwaki as the Secretary of the Meru County Alcohol Drinks Control Board, Joseph Kidure-Mberia, the CEO of Meru County Urban Water and Sanitation Services Corporation, Kenneth Kimathi-Mbai, the CEO of Meru County Microfinance Corporation, Dr. John Ntoiti, the CEO of Meru County Revenue Board. And these employees, Mr. Speaker, were hired by boards of those sectors. B. Violation of a court order issued in Meru ELC case number E012 of 2022 forbidding the governor and the county executive from dismissing or replacing the county workers alluded to in subparagraph A above. Locking out the county workers alluded to in subparagraph A above by changing door locks and preventing them from accessing their offices despite the court order, and dismissing the county workers alluded to in subparagraph A above at a public rally instead of following the due process. Declaring and swearing at a public rally at Metongo that they would defy any court orders issued in favor of the county workers alluded to in subparagraph A above, if bringing the administration of justice into disrepute, usurping and trashing exclusive constitutional and statutory functions and mandates of the Meru County Public Service Board and the Public Service Commission and the various boards that operate those departments, Evidence of the governor's gross misconduct, gross violation of Articles 10, 47, 232, 234, 235, and 236 of the Constitution, and gross violation of Sections 55, 59A, 59A, 60, 62, 63, 64, and 65 of the County Governments Act, Section 4 and 5 of the Fair Administrative Actions Act 2015, and Sections 35, 43, and 45 of the Employment Act 2007 is set in the video saved as Annex 9 in the flash drive in my possession. The transcript / translation of the video is attached as Annex 9A to the affidavit in support of this motion. Copies of a court application, a court order dated 9th October 2022, and related documents are also attached to the affidavit in support of the motion and marked Annex 10. The second charge is incitement, bullying, vilification, and misleading campaigns against other leaders. The governor has grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution. 2, grossly violated Sections 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act. 3, grossly violated Sections 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act. And 4, repeatedly engaged in gross misconduct by 1, holding public verification, incitement, and humiliation rallies against the members of the Assembly and other elected leaders, falsely accusing members of the County Assembly and other elected leaders of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. C, holding public verification and incitement rallies against the Catholic Church and Catholic clergy, and inciting the public against the members of the Assembly and other elected leaders who are knowing that such conduct can trigger violent reactions and pose serious breaches of peace in Meru County. Evidence of specific illustrative examples of the governor's vilification and incitement campaigns against members of the County Assembly and other elected leaders are outlined in paragraph 7 to 12 below. Humiliation of the minority leader. On or around 24th October 2022, the governor, 1, grossly violated Articles 10, 73, 75 of the Constitution. 2, grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, grossly violated Sections 29, 34 of the Leadership Integrity Act, and engaged in gross misconduct by bullying and inciting the public against the minority leader and a member of Assembly for Akedhi Ward, Honorable Mwangaza, the minority leader, at a public rally held at Mwangaza, requiring the minority leader to make a public apology for unknown and undisclosed wrongs at the public rally held at Mwangaza. Violently grabbing a microphone from the minority leader at the public rally held at Mwangaza. Offering to protect the minority leader against the Speaker of the County Assembly from unknown and undisclosed dangers. And falsely accusing the members of the County Assembly and other elected leaders of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. Evidence of the governor's gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, gross violation of Sections 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, gross violation of Sections 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and gross misconduct is set in the video and saved as Annex 11 in the flash disk in my custody. The translation of the video is attached as Annex 11A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Vilification of the minority chief whip and other leaders. On or around 25th October 2022, the governor grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, and grossly violated Sections 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and engaged in gross misconduct by inciting the public against the minority whip and member of County Assembly for Abogeta West Ward, Honorable Dennis Kiogora DMK, at a public rally held at Ngongo in Abogeta West Ward, falsely accusing the minority whip of stoning her, and falsely accusing the members of the Assembly and other elected leaders of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. Evidence of the governor's gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, gross violation of Sections 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, gross violation of Sections 29, 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and gross misconduct is set out in the video saved as Annex 12 in the flash drive in my custody. The transcription of the video is attached as Annex 12A to the affidavit in support of this motion. Verification of the Senate of Meru County. On or around the 12th of September 2022, the governor violated Articles 1073 and 75 of the Constitution, grossly violating Sections 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, grossly violating Sections 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and 4, engaged in gross misconduct by inciting the public against the Senator of Meru County, Honorable Kaduri Murongi, at a public rally held at Rara and Tonene Ward, firstly accusing the Senator of demanding a share of county appointments, firstly accusing the Senator of antagonizing and creating a wedge between the Governor and the President of the Republic of Kenya, firstly accusing the Senator of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. Evidence of the Governor's gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, gross violation of Sections 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, and gross violation of Sections 29, 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and the gross misconduct is set out in the video received as Annex 14, the flash drive here in my custody, and a transcript translation of the video is attached as Annex 13 to the affidavit in support of the motion. Vilification of the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture. On or around the 12th of September 2022, the Governor grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, and grossly violated Sections 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and engaged in misconduct by bullying and inciting the public against the Cabinet Secretary for Agriculture, Honorable Franklin Withika Linturi, at a public rally held at Rara in Tonene Ward. Firstly, accusing the Cabinet Secretary of demanding a share of county government appointments. Firstly, accusing the Cabinet Secretary of antagonizing and creating a wedge between her and the President of the Republic of Kenya. And firstly, accusing the Cabinet Secretary of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. Evidence of the Governor's gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, and gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, gross violation of Sections 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and gross misconduct is set in the video saved as Annex 13, the flash drive presented with this motion. A transcript translation of the video is attached as Annex 13 to the affidavit supporting the motion. Verification of the MP for Tigania East constituency. On or around the 9th of November 2022, the Governor and her husband grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, grossly violated Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and engaged in gross misconduct by inciting the public against the Member of Parliament for Tigania East constituency, Honorable Mporo Abori, the MP for Tigania East, at a public rally and at Mbaranga in Karama Ward. Firstly, accusing the MP for Tigania East of demanding that the Governor appoint the MP's wife as the County Executive Committee member. Firstly, accusing the MP for Tigania East of demanding that the Governor pre-qualifies his 12 companies for the award of county tenders. Firstly, accusing the MP of Tigania East of presenting fake pending bills for payment by the county government. And firstly, accusing the MP for Tigania East of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation. Evidence of the Governor's and her husband's gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, gross violation of Sections 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and gross misconduct is set in the video saved as Annex 14 in the flash disk presented herewith. The transcript through translation of the video is attached as Annex 14A to the affidavit in support of this motion. Verification of the Catholic Church and the clergy. On or around 17th October 2022, the Governor, 1, violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, grossly violated Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, grossly violated Section 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and engaged in gross misconduct by inciting the public against the Roman Catholic Church and the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Meru, Mr. The Reverend Salesius Mugambi at a public rally held at former Igoji Boys Secondary School, and firstly accusing the Catholic Church of grabbing public land. Firstly accusing the Catholic Church of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation, conducting a mock public prayer to demean and humiliate the Catholic Church and the Catholic clergy present, and inciting the Catholic against religious leaders, while knowing that such conduct can easily trigger violent reactions from the public and pose a serious breach of peace. Evidence of governor's gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, and gross violation of Section 19 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, gross violation of Sections 29 and 34 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, and gross misconduct is here set in the video saved as Annex 15, the flash drive in my custody. The transcript or translation of the video is attached as Annex 15A to the affidavit in support of this motion. The third ground for impeachment of the Meru governor: forceful entry into the assembly precincts and mobilization of unlawful riots against members of the county assembly. On or around 19th October 2022, the governor and her husband grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, and grossly violated Section 5 and 7 of the County Assembly's Powers and Privileges Act 2017, and engaged in misconduct by forcefully entering the precincts of the Assembly, falsely accusing members of the County Assembly and other elected leaders of cartelism, blackmail, greed, corruption, and intimidation, organizing a violent demonstration against the members of the County Assembly at the Assembly precincts, and addressing a riotous crowd at the precincts of the Assembly. Evidence of the governor's and her husband's gross violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, gross violation of Sections 5 and 9 of the County Assembly's Powers and Privileges Act 2017, and gross misconduct is set in the video saved as Annex 16 and 17 in the flash disk presented herewith. The transcripts or translations of the videos are attached as Annex 16A and 17A to the affidavit in support of the motion. Violation of public finance management laws. On or around the 6th September 2022, the governor grossly violated Articles 201 and 207 of the Constitution, and grossly violated Sections 109(2) and 159 of the Public Finance Management Act, grossly violated Sections 12 and 24 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, and grossly violated Sections 16 and 35 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, engaged in gross misconduct and engaged in gross abuse of office by directing the Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital to spend all revenue at source, whereas all monies raised as or received on, by or on behalf of the county should be paid into the county revenue fund. Issuing of waivers on fees at the Meru Teaching and Referral Hospital, whereas the County Executive Committee member for Finance is the only person legally empowered to grant such waivers, and directing county government officers to participate in furthering and advancing the interest of Vaite TV, a media station owned by Mwangaza Advertiser Limited, a private company owned by the governor through her close relatives as proxies. Evidence of the governor's gross violation of Articles 201 and 207 of the Constitution, and the gross violation of Sections 109(2), 159 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, gross violation of Sections 12, 24 of the Public Officer Ethics Act, and gross violation of Sections 16 and 35 of the Leadership and Integrity Act, gross misconduct and gross abuse of office is set in the video saved as Annex 18 in the flash drive in my custody. A transcription of the video is attached as Annex 18A to the affidavit supporting this motion. Further evidence is in the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission letter dated the 19th October 2022, and the document is attached as Annex 18B and Annex 18C to the affidavit supporting this motion. The fourth charge. The fifth, actually. Misconduct relating to the nomination of CECs. On or around the 18th November 2022, the governor engaged in gross misconduct, grossly violated Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, grossly violated Articles 10(1) of the Public Appointments, County Assembly's Approval Act 2017, and grossly violated Section 3, 4, 10, and 11 of the Meru County Detention Enhancement Fund Act of 2016 by vilifying members of the County Assembly for refusing to approve some CECMs at a public rally held at Kiangwa in Igoji West Ward. Firstly, accusing members of the County Assembly of shortchanging one Caste Mecheni and other nominees for appointment to the CEC. Illegally instructing Caste Mecheni to usurp the statutory functions of the Igoji West Ward Detention Enhancement Fund Committee by identifying the persons that would benefit from the county bursary funds, failing to submit names of other candidates to the County Assembly for approval for appointment to the CEC after the Assembly rejected nominees. The law requires she submits new names. Reorganizing a government to 6 departments and 3 CEC members after the rejection of some nominees instead of submitting names of other candidates to the County Assembly as provided for in the County Assembly's Approval Act. Swearing to appoint to a government and actively work with losers of the 2022 county elections instead of the duly elected MCAs to stir wrangles within the Assembly. Evidence of the governor's gross misconduct and violation of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution and gross violation of Sections 10(1) of the Public Appointments, County Assembly's Approval Act of 2018 is set in the videos saved as Annex 19 and Annex 20 in the flash disk presented herewith. The transcripts of the videos are attached Annex 19A and Annex 20A in support of affidavit in support of this motion, dated in Meru this 21st day of November 2022. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.